Welcome to Final with Geoff Tice, a podcast about creativity, art, design, comedy. A podcast that will be over the second we have Rick Rubin on as a guest. But that day is not today because today, since it is episode number 2, we do not have a guest. We are going solo. I think this is going to be a bit of the format. I'm going to have a guest every other week and then have a bit of a kind of a mailbag update, just kind of what's going on in my world. Not that it needs to be about me, but just more about what I'm thinking I want to talk about. Find some cool artists, find some designers, just generally creative people that I maybe want to talk about or just, put out into the world that I think are doing a great job. That's really kind of all I'm doing. That's it. So yeah, if this is going to be kind of what the show will be for the foreseeable future. It'll next week we have an amazing guest, and so stick around for next week. We have Sean Jordan. He's the greatest person I've ever met. Honestly, no one better. But he's a great comedian and a great skateboarder. We talk a lot about skateboarding and the art of skateboarding, graphically and rhythmically, and so that's a fun one. That'll be coming out next week. But for this week, we'll keep these short too. These super tiny solo pods. I know it's hard to listen to one person talk for too long, especially this voice. So we'll keep it tight. But that being said, I do have some comedy shows coming up. If you didn't know, I do stand-up comedy of the spoken word variety. I have some shows tomorrow, which shocking, obviously unbelievable if you hear this today or in the morning and then make it to this show. But I have 2 shows tonight, or tomorrow, I mean, one for January 4th at the American Place Casino in Waukegan, Illinois. I'll be opening for the great Josh Blue. He's a wonderful person, and an incredible comedian. And then 116, January 16th, 222. That's the name of the place, not a weird formatting of my different dates, but it's in Aurora, Colorado. It's 222 is the name of the brewery, and I'll be headlining that one. And then January 17th, Lone Tree Golf and Hotel in Lone Tree, Colorado. I'll be headlining that. And then I will be in Basalt, Colorado on January 24th at the Arts Campus at Willits with Rory Scovel. I'll be opening for Rory Scovel. And then 129 Stranahan's Distillery in Denver. I'll be headlining that. And then jumping all the way to February 6th through the 8th, the Punchline in Sacramento, California with Rory Scovel. I'll be opening for Rory on those dates too. So yeah, come out and see us. I'll be opening for some incredible comedians. I'm doing all right. I'm kind of funny, but those guys are amazing. So definitely worth the show to come and see them. And yeah, it's a good, exciting new year. I'm pumped to get into this. I feel like every year people get so excited for the new year, and I'm in the middle of a project right now and I just don't have it. I don't feel at all like I'm doing anything new for the new year. I think the one thing I did start doing is time boxing my time, and I've only done that for the last 3 hours of today. So we'll see how long that lasts. It's not even a resolution. It's just a thing I need to do to keep up with all the different things I have going in my life. So that's it. I did make a fun list of in and outs of what's out for 2024 and what's in for 2025. I think out this year specifically, we're going with italics. Italics are out. I know that sounds derogatory towards just a random group of made up people, but no, I'm talking about fonts, specifically italics. You don't need them. They don't do anything. They look weird. It's kind of how it's always been, but it's especially out for 2024. In for 2025, tight kerning, because these letters needs friends too. The people. I'm sick of these tracked out, and I'm the biggest culprit of doing this. All caps tracked out Wes Anderson. We're not doing that. We're slamming these letters so close together that it looks kind of weird, but in a fun way. So that's tight kerning is in for 2025. Out we have starting a podcast. That one's on me, but I decided to start a podcast way too late, but here we are. That is definitely out. In listening to white noise on full volume, just zoning out. That's what we're doing. We're just kind of working, zoning out, listening to just staticky buzz in the name of, just feeling better about ourselves. Out for 2025. Book clubs. We're out on book clubs. Well, because we all know what you guys are actually reading. Okay, so take it easy with that. But just to save it, book clubs are also back in. It was out for a second, but they're back in because it is very cool that you guys are reading all that. That's very cool. So keep doing that. Book clubs are in. Out, Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes. That is more of just F1 news more than anything, because in for 2025 is Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari. Again, just keeping updated on F1. This podcast will veer, pun intended, aggressively into F1 territory if it's just me chatting, because it's really what I watch and ingest a lot of. That and just the NBA on TNT probably is what's going to be. Out for 2024, those trapeze swinging drip painting guys. Get them out of here. We're done with those guys. We don't need them anymore. Somehow those guys feel more like AI than AI. I don't know how to explain that, other than I just don't really have much tolerance for a guy in a white room spinning paint all over the place. And then I know what it is. The actual video is the art. The content is what he's making. The actual image is probably whatever. But yeah, those are out. In plein air painting. Plein air painting is in. I want to see a weird, messy oil painting of some trail near your house in Michigan. That's what I want. I want to see light coming through some old deadwood trees on like a 7x9 piece of recycled panel. And that's all. That's the art we're looking for right now. Just plein air painting is in. And then out, painting furniture. We're not painting furniture anymore. I think that's out for this year. Definitely out. And then in is cement. I'm not explaining that, but that's cement is in. So that's it. That's my definitive list. I made that while on the toilet. So there you go. Super perfect. The other thing, I know I was joking about talking about different artists going in and out of the content cycle and things you find on Instagram. I think that's another thing I want this to be. I want to talk more about just artists that I really like and artists that I think are doing a really good job. So to start that off, I've been following this guy for a long time, but he's a Colombian oil painter. If you haven't seen him, check him out on Instagram, called Pedro Covo, Pedro, last name Covo, Covo. And he does these they're beautifully like large format oil paintings. His website has some really beautiful stuff, more figure stuff, but his Instagram is what I found originally. And he has some really beautiful, right now he's doing this kind of massive, majestic bird series with mangroves, and they're really super deep and dark green with these big, beautiful, bright hits of the birds, and these like white, light pink birds. And then the other thing I really love about it, I'm looking at one now where I can put this up on the screen. If you watch on YouTube, I'll be throwing it up there too. But his ability to make these birds and the environment and everything in it with the technique and the lighting, it feels like you were trying to remember what you saw, if that makes sense. There's these beautiful ways of blurring the lines together and having different moments go in and out of focus, and it just feels really, really cool. And on top of that, his use of color is beautiful. He has most of the canvas in a very dark, deep, or just atmospheric feel, and then a few hits of still very subtle color of the subject matter, with the light coming through and really casting it on those subject matters. He does it almost in every painting, where he has this beautiful kind of morning or evening light, very peachy pink light coming through and landing on the subject matter, and in that dappled light, it just looks so good. I always think it looks like a memory. So many times when I look at art, I want it to feel like, take me to a different place or make me think about a different place. And so, yeah, check out Pedro Covo. It's some new work that I haven't really seen much of, and and it's beautiful. I really like it. He works huge. I'm looking at some of this stuff, and I say huge. It's not like mural size, but it's probably 2 meters by 1.5 meters is what I'm looking at right now. So yeah, 78 by 48, which is it's so cool. And then another thing he does is he just opens up the canvas with so much negative space. He has these birds flying through in really cool motion. It has beautiful movement to these pieces. And then on top of that, he uses subtle colors where nothing is super high contrast and everything is kind of bleeding into each other, and they're very earth tones, but very cool at the same time. It's beautiful. It's really cool stuff. So yeah, that's someone I think you should check out, Pedro Covo. And yeah, that's it. I mean, honestly, that's what these little quick hits are going to be. They're going to be 10 to 15-minute, quick, short, little moments, just chats. So listen to this in your car, listen on YouTube. That's what this is going to be. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you guys next week. We'll be back with a quick one and a really fun one with Sean Jordan next week. So again, follow me on social media on at Jeffrey Tice, GeoffReyTice. I also have a children's book out called the 11 Evelyns. It's on Amazon. So Google that or go to I think it's in the footer of the episode to check that out. And yeah, come to a comedy show and be good to each other. Thanks, everyone. Bye.